maybe you just randomly from the algorithm clicked on this, but regardless, hello.
Let's begin, shall we?
Hi, hello, welcome in. I did not check my webcam, so I hope, okay, it's good. We're good. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Hi, hello. How's everyone doing? We're gonna start in with our movie puzzle. First on the block. Alright, we got 10 minutes. Try to figure out the answers. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, we start off with the imitation game. So this is going to be Benedict Cumberbatch was in it. And I believe Keira Knightley. I don't remember who else was in that movie. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Yeah, I only saw it once when it originally came out because it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. Yeah, so I don't remember who else was in it. Guardians of the Galaxy, someone with a middle initial. Mark Strong? Mark Strong fits. Alright, Guardians of the Galaxy, somebody who has a middle initial. So Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Karen Gillan, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, John C. Reilly. There we go. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I don't remember which one this was. Because they had them, like, backwards because it was, like, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, then Dawn, then War. Something like that. So I don't remember if this is the first or the second one in the newer series. But I don't think it matters because I really don't remember who was any of the actors in it. I guess it could be Andy Serkis? Maybe. The Addams Family, 1991. Based on just how long the name is, I wonder if it's Christina Ricci. Christina. Nope. Oh, now I have to try to think of who else was in it. Christopher Lloyd? Okay. There we go. And then Sin City. Bruce Willis? Alright. Gonna take a wild guess that the first name is Michael. And the last name might be Keaton. Oh, no, it's not. The Fugitive. So we got Tommy Lee Jones. It's another Michael. It starts with M. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Emma Stone for The Help. Mission Impossible 2. Oh, jeez. I haven't seen that. Since probably it came out. Yeah, outside of like Tom Cruise and like I think Ving Rhames was in that one. I really don't remember. Alright, I wonder if it's Michael Madsen. The French Dispatch. Yeah, it could be anyone. Prometheus. So we have Noomi Rapace, Michael Fassbender. Oh, Guy Pearce. He played the old guy under like a ton of makeup, and he was in it for like a minute. But I guess they were setting him up to come back in the sequel for it. Matrix Reloaded. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Lawrence Fishburne. I probably just missed a letter in his last name. Oh, it had an E at the end. So, wow, we actually got all of our guesses right. Forgot the E at the end of Fishburne for Lawrence Fishburne, and then spelt John C. Reilly's last name incorrectly. Yeah, you did help. Getting especially the first letter and the first clue on each name makes it a lot easier. So we didn't even think about the Oscar winners. So we had Allison Janney for I, Tonya and Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club, I believe. And then Brendan Gleeson was in Mission Impossible 2. Okay. I will believe the game on that one. And then French Dispatch, Saoirse Ronan. Yeah, she was in it, but it is one of those movies where I don't know the cast off the top of my head well enough. Love the Imitation Game. One of my favorite scenes has Mark Strong in it. Okay, nice. Yeah, like I watched it when it originally came out, so that would have been late 2014, early 2015. Around the time it was nominated for some Oscars, so it's been over 10 years since I've seen it. So yeah, I just remember, like I said, Benedict Cumberbatch as Alan Turing, and I remember Keira Knightley was in it. But yeah, Mark Strong, should have known. British movie. He's one of those British actors that shows up in just like everything. Right, damn it, right. We're going to get there. Alan Turney was or still is on the 50-pound note. Did not know that. I know. No, I don't. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. I was waiting for Naughty Dog to get here to share this. I saw Black. Oh, you watched Black Swan. So what did you think of it? I think the first movie I've ever seen where multiple points and at the end genuinely was like, what the flying fuck just happened? Yeah, that is fair. Is that the British government's way of apologizing for... Ooh, yeah. Oof. But the ending was fantastic. Yeah, I was trying to not spoil it for you, but the end when she jumps and the line she says, I was like, okay, yeah, that kind of ties it all together. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah, Black Swan is definitely different. And I mean, that's definitely an Aronofsky thing. But it is quite interesting. I think it's one I would understand a lot more if I rewatched it. Fantastic film, though. Yeah. Yep. Alright, I guess we should get into writing. Trillion, hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? How's your week going? Oh, so the voice. Yeah, before we get into writing, I have to do a voice for Mariners. Or try to. You bet nothing wrong with rewatches. A lot of best insight films come from. Take a shot for, yeah. Taking a shot of my water. Wow, I've already gone through like half my water and we're only 10 minutes into stream, so starting off well. Um, yeah, Mariner. So you asked me if I would play James Bond in a movie. So I've been bored at work. So I've been working on my British accent just for this. Let's hear it. All right. The name's Bond. James Bond. There you go. That's it. I could play James Bond in a movie if that's the only line there is. Anything more than that, I don't know. But I figured you would appreciate that. James Bond, the mute. Exactly. Nice. Glad you appreciated it. All right, now we will get into the writing slash, hopefully, probably, mostly editing stuff. So previously we got through all of the inciting incident, kind of the opening sequence, I would say, we got through. Because that doesn't, this section sets up a lot of things, but it's not the moment that propels Margaret. Good to hear your employer is paying you to be productive. Yeah. This isn't necessarily the what we previously wrote wasn't what propels Margaret into action. What's coming up shortly will be when she sees Helene again. But we may or may not actually get up to there tonight. But we did get through kind of the opening sequence that sets up a lot of things that are going to come back up again throughout, including finishing up with Margaret changing her face. So, wait till I find out he was stirring and not shaking martinis on the clock. Yep. All right. So, like I said, we finished with Margaret changing her face, and then we have a bit of a time jump. So we are jumping from 1627 to 1681. So there has been a little over 50 years that Margaret has been living off the land, wandering through the woods, going from northern New York down into the Ohio Valley. 54 years to be precise. Yes. Because why not? We can do whatever we want. Alright, so we're picking up Exterior Forest Day, 1681. Sunlight pierces through the tree canopy. Margaret wanders through the trees, aimless. feel like we don't need through the trees because we are in the forest and we are talking about the tree canopy. So we can just say sunlight pierces through the tree canopy. Margaret wanders aimless. Her clothes are time-worn, patched from the decades on her own. Time-worn, patched from decades on her own. Yeah, I just feel like those two phrases should be switched. Aimless or aimlessly if you're using it as an adverb in the sentence to modify, but I like to keep them as either adjectives or verbs and separate them. So I just shifted it to the front of the sentence so it's aimless. Margaret wanders. Her clothes are time-worn, patched from decades, living off the land on her own. From decades of living on the land, off the land, yeah. Yeah, because it's obvious she's on her own. And then I think we can just put those together because we're seeing this all at once. So sunlight pierces through the tree canopy. I want a different word than pierces. Um, Seeps is a good one. As someone who has precisely 5 days of screenwriting experience, this looks good to me. Thanks, Mariners. Scatters, apples, yeah. Sunlight seeps through the tree canopy. Aimless, Margaret wanders. Her clothes are time-worn, patched from decades living off the land. She comes to a halt. Another 5 days and I'll be ready to read for festival. Yeah. Oh, so update on the horror movie that I submitted. So I think it was clear I was not happy with the random forest mushroom. With the reader comments I got, and they did have a feedback section, so I let them know I was not happy with it. And they are basically removing the existing review and having someone else read it. So, yeah. I have a feeling I'm probably going to get about the same score from the reread, just because I realized this kind of after the fact, and I should have thought about it beforehand. A lot of times for festivals and contests and stuff, they are looking for, I don't want to say the most formulaic, but screenplays that fit the formula of what they expect screenplays to be, and mine is not necessarily that, and so it's probably going to be more, I've made it more difficult for myself to do well in things that expect things to fit into a traditional structure or formula. Anyways, Major! Hi, hello, Major. How are you doing? How's your day going? Yes, Major is always right, according to 50 and her husband. All mushrooms are edible, some only edible once. Yep, these are some of those mushrooms that are only edible once. Alright. So, yeah, that is the update for that. Um, we'll see if they come back with a different score or anything, but like I said, I'm not anticipating too big of a change either way, but it's something. Good, today has been a bit rough mentally, but I'm hanging in there, currently grinding some Fortnite. Major, we're sending you all the love. Hope you feel better as soon as possible. I hope you take it easy on the 12-year-olds you're going to destroy in Fortnite. Mariners read the original screenplay of Nightcrawler for a great example of non-traditionally formatted screenplay that's incredibly well written. Nightcrawler was a weird film. That's another one I only watched when it originally came out. I know a lot of people were really high on it. Okay. So she halts, spotting. I want to switch the. She halts. Base of a tree. She spots. I really want to watch Interstellar, but it's like 3 hours long. Interstellar is one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, the first section is definitely the slowest, but it sets up everything for later in the film. So it's a lot of just setting stuff up, the relationships, the stakes of what's happening on Earth, and some other stuff. But the kind of second and third hour, um, there is a sequence that I think might be one of the best action sequences of all time. Um, without spoiling anything, the docking sequence, like whenever I watch that still, I'm just like gripping my couch because it's so tense the entire time. Just the score, everything is just incredible. But yeah, I can see the first part being a little tough to get through, but if you stick with it and get to the music, Hans Zimmer score, amazing. With the state, yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As tense as when Kevin McAllister rode the zipline to his treehouse. Yep. Man, now I just want to watch Interstellar. Anyway. Um, all right. She halts. At the base of a tree, she spots a cluster of mushrooms. Intrigued, she nears. I feel like we can cut that. She halts. At the base of a tree, she spots a cluster of mushrooms. I feel like we should capitalize mushrooms. Intrigued, she kneels to examine them. feel like this should go up higher. Are you opening your screenplay to work on Mariners, or are you opening the Interstellar screenplay? I am. Mine? Nice. Alright. So we changed some stuff around, so I just want to start back from the top of it. So exterior forest day, 1681. Sunlight seeps through the tree canopy. Aimless, Margaret wanders. Her clothes are time-worn, patched from decades living off the land. Dispassionate, she has none of the warmth she once had. She halts. At the base of a tree she spots a cluster of mushrooms. Intrigued, she kneels to examine them. Brushing off dirt from the mushrooms, she tears one off to get a better look. So I feel like that is all part of the same thought. Intrigued, she kneels to examine them. Brushing off dirt, she tears one. Brushing off, intrigued, she kneels to examine them. Brushing off dirt, she tears one off to get a better look. She tears one off or she tears one out? My friend said he'd never forget his uncle's last words. Stop shaking the ladder, you fool. Apparently. uh, my favorite joke, kind of in the same vein as that. Um, I think it has a longer lead up, but basically it's like, what was the last thing that went through the mind of the skydiver whose parachute didn't open? I feel like this should be out. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? His knees. That's not gonna be exactly. Alright. Intrigued, she kneels to examine them. Brushing off dirt or brushing the dirt off? Brushing the dirt off sounds more right. Brushing the dirt off, she tears one out to get a better look. Realizing, Margaret hesitates. That's a dad. Yeah, I guess I probably did hear that originally from my dad. That's fair. I'll allow it. Not that it would matter if I didn't. There's a similar line in Shawshank Redemption. I don't remember that. I believe you, but Steve was talking about cremating dead people in water a few days ago. Apparently, it's a method used in Scotland now. Also, not a good visual based on how he described it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so sometimes what it does, Mariners, is when you make an edit, it will highlight it in red for a second and then it will go away because some people like to keep track of edits. Um, I think there's an option for it somewhere, but yeah, I almost did a panic. Yeah, that'll happen. Okay, yeah. As soon as I started reading that, it was in Morgan Freeman's voice. The last thing that went through Warden Samuel Norton's head, aside from a bullet, was wondering exactly how Andy Dufresne managed to get the best of him. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I cannot get my voice nearly as low or gravelly as Morgan Freeman can. I know I shouldn't be editing, but one of the videos said to show the genre of the script within 2 pages, and I'm trying to work out how to do that. I don't know. I don't know that you need to do that. Um, yeah, I mean, thinking about this one, yeah, I guess we do show some witchcraft and we show the romance between Helene and Margaret, so maybe. You can get away with 5 pages for that. You want to establish your theme in the first 5 minutes generally. Yeah. Intrigued, she kneels down to examine them. Brushing the dirt off, she tears one out to get a better look. Realizing, Margaret hesitates. Then, she takes a deep breath, bites into the mushroom. Struggling to keep it down, she forces another bite. Then another. Oh, bingo, I think? What'd you get bingo on, Mariners? Idea. Okay, cool. Brain do idea. That's always good. Exterior, forest, night. Margaret lies on the ground, her skin pale, sweating. Yeah, I'm just gonna reverse those. Margaret lies on the ground, sweating, her skin pale. Her hands grip her stomach as she writhes in pain. Then she vomits. Okay, at the base of the tree. At the base of the tree, Margaret lies on the ground, sweating, her skin pale. Her hands grip her stomach as she writhes in pain. Are we Mexican waves big in... Huh? Are Mexican waves big in the NFL? Don't fall in the habit of editing as you write the first draft. Every time I change something, I hear your voice telling me this. So, I, as a principal, tried not to tell other people how to go through their writing process. If you want to edit as you go, that is up to you. I will tell people the process that works best for me, and if they want to use that, they are welcome to. If they want to do their own thing, they are welcome to. Because I don't think there is one way that is universally best for everyone, but in my process, I agree with you, Naughty Dog. I try not to edit too much as I'm going through the first draft. I want to get as much of it laid out on paper as I can. So then when we're going through editing now, I know where the end is, I know how it ends, I know the point we're getting to, and everything along the way is going to lead and reflect to that point. So that's why I do it the way that I do it, but everyone has their own process. Some fans tried doing a Mexican wave during the England game. England fans were not happy. Yeah, I imagine. From my, albeit little, experience in writing the novel, I do think editing during slows me down, but it can be hard not to edit things. Yeah. Yeah, like I think every stream, as we were going through this, whenever I would start up, I would always go to the end of the previous scene and read through it, and I'd always end up like editing a little bit of it and then getting into writing the next part of it. So, even I do it, but like I try not to get too fixated, especially on the first draft, because a phrase I like to use is writing is rewriting. So part of the writing process is going to be rewriting it and going through it again. So if it's not perfect the first time, that's completely fine. Approaching Act 2 of the novel, though, which should be fun. Yeah. Meep. Not what I meant to do. I feel like vomit should be capital. So I got in trouble on some stuff on a piece that I submitted a while back because I was capitalizing way too many things. Because, like, when you're going through and reading what you're supposed to capitalize, different places will tell you different things, and some are like, you want to capitalize the first time you see a character on screen. Okay, that's pretty universal. And then some people were like, you want to capitalize, what was it, like action moments? And some said like, anytime you need something from the prop department, and like it got to the point where like just like every other word was capitalized. I was like, yeah, I think there's a problem. I think generally a lot of screenwriters agree that editing the first draft as you write is the easiest way to hate your story and rethink your entire life. Yeah. The Grammar Mafia, they must be a bundle of fun. Rebecca, good morning. How are you doing? Ooh, you're on Friday already. Nice. I hope Friday is going well. Sorry, we were, um, All right, so we have Margaret vomits, too weak to move. Margaret just lies there, waiting to die. Right, I'm gonna lurk. Was try to get a page or two in. All right, sounds good, Mariners. Feeling great today because I got 4K words by surprise. Ooh, nice. Plot, critical plot, props, distinct sounds, and visual effects is what I was. Yeah. But when you're writing like a sci-fi movie with a MacGuffin that is kind of prevalent, a lot of stuff ends up getting capitalized. So yeah, it's one thing I've tried to be very judicious about as I progressed in writing. Managed barely 1,000 words on the 8-hour stream, then 3K in the next few hours after. Barley is bare. Okay, wait. Where is Barley? Oh, in your previous. Oh, I was. I really overlooked that. Interesting. I'm not a screenwriter. It never occurred to me that all caps had a purpose. Yes. Yeah. So, um, I try to keep it to a minimum. First time a character appears on screen, you always capitalize them, and then things that are important. So in my day job, I am a web designer, graphic designer, and when I'm teaching people about web design, a lot of times I'll run into the issue that people want to put everything on their web page in bold. And so one of the phrases I came up with is if everything on your web page is in bold, nothing is in bold. And so that's the way I've tried to force myself to think about capitalization. The more you capitalize, the less impact it has. Don't do your head in. I made a spelling mistake. I was correct. Yeah, you're good. I'd seen the names caps when reading scripts, so mushrooms are important as they should be. Yeah. So, yeah, she sees the cluster of mushrooms. She ends up eating them. They're poisonous. They lead to her being sick and vomiting and nearly dying. That's just a bold font of that. Yeah, exactly. Canon, hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? No, there's a reason we have multiple H tags. There's purpose, visual emphasis. Yes. And white space is our friend. I agree. Too weak to move. Margaret just lies there, waiting to die. Feel like there should be a comma there. All right, then we're up to 14. Woo! So the reader and future production departments know they're important. Yeah. Interior, Shawnee Longhouse, day. Margaret wakes with a start under hand-woven blankets, her face still drained of color. She tries to shift, but debilitated, she struggles. Yeah, we're moving that around. Debilitated, she tries to shift. We don't need the rest of that. Tries implies that she's struggling and unable to do it. Used to also be a web tech, but back in the early and mid 2000s when hard coding was a thing and WYSIWYG was stupid. WYSIWYG is still stupid, but we have a content management system, so non-web people can edit their own websites, and so they get a WYSIWYG editor. But like anytime they email me to fix something, I just go into the code because for me at least, it's so much easier to find where the issue is and how to fix it. But yeah, the WYSIWYG editor, oof, does not do what it's supposed to. Yeah, so set design, costume design, know the important props. Yeah, but that gets into the thing of like, we don't capitalize characters' clothing unless it's important in another way outside of it just being their clothing. So yeah, it's strange rules and tendencies in it. Now, take all the complaints you have about web and graphic design and apply them to video production. That's yep. Yeah, I used to use WordPress. Oh yeah, but I use WordPress CMS now. A number of times I just wish I could change something in plugins. At least I can child. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're inside. I know I want to do that. Do we need to describe it anymore? No, because we're really just going to be in like one section of it. Yeah? Yeah. Alright, we'll drop in the lurk. Yeah, no problem. We are trying to edit. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Hope you're able to be productive while you lurk as well. Margaret wakes with a start under hand-woven blankets, her face still drained of color. Debilitated, she tries to shift. Noticing, a Shawnee healer nears Margaret, places her hands on her shoulders, gentle, trying to calm her. Nears Margaret, places her hands on her shoulders, gentle. Yeah. No changes for that one. It works. The Shawnee all have long black hair and wear traditional deerskin attire. Shawnee healer. Not even going to try it. Margaret. Voice. Weak. I guess I can just have to say weak. No. No. Shawnee healer. Margaret. Why did... The healer retrieves a wooden bowl. Places it at Margaret's lips. On Margaret's lips. The healer retrieves a wooden bowl, places it on Margaret's lips. Resisting, Margaret shakes her head, but the healer is patient. Yeah, we're gonna change that. Patient. Healer remains. Persists. Yeah, I think persists is correct. Hi, hello, welcome in. I just looked over at my chat and saw that. Yoon, hi, hello, welcome in. How are you? How is everyone? Rose, hi, hello. We were writing probably. I was in there. I was lurking. I saw the little fun timer guy. But hi, hello, welcome in everyone. A lot of familiar names. Book Lover, Sylvie, Furry Combat Wombat. We were writing probably. Raiders, yeah. Tried to do the lurking, then Yoon decided to raid you, so I guess I'm back. Yay! Writing happened. Well done this time. Fair. I help with the games and then I usually lurk. I'm usually still there, but it's also around the time that I leave work. So sometimes I will like lurk and then I have to leave work. But yes, I'm usually in there. That's why I have over 100,000 channel points. A major wellness check was redeemed. We checked in with Major earlier. She was having a rough mental health day, but hope we sent her all the love and good vibes, and she is now um, showing all the 12-year-olds how to get dubs in Fortnite. I also do games then lurk since I have so many household things to do. Yeah, at least recently. Yeah, make Ian do the dishes. We have a dishwasher installed. Sweet, snipe those Fortnite noobs. What? Not reading that. All right, yeah. Anyway, welcome in everyone. For anyone who hasn't been here before, hi, I'm 54. I write screenplays. We are currently in the process of doing the first kind of major edit going through our screenplay that we wrote. If anyone is interested, there is kind of an outline of the story. We are fairly early on in the editing process. What am I missing? Greetings, I'm a traveler from the illustrious land of Yoon. Welcome in. Yeah, we are in the process of editing. Like I said, we're still pretty early on. We're on page 9 of our screenplay. It's currently around 100 pages. Um, but obviously, going through the edits and stuff, it's probably going to change quite a bit. Um, yeah, and we're pretty early on, but we are kind of moving through it. So we're going to continue doing that. Um, oh, we are just over an hour into stream. So I will be taking a break shortly. We might get through the rest of this and then take a quick break, come back, and continue editing. Thank you, 50, for pronouncing that. What? What did I pronounce? Oh, illustrious land. Not sure it's sleep. I do just suck a spell. Me too. Illustrious. I was struggling. Okay. Yeah. There are definitely words that I struggle with. On stream, if I come across one, I just kind of mumble through it and try to move on and hope nobody notices. All right. Like I said, we got a couple lines left in this scene, and then we will take a short break. I will put some words on stream up, and then when I come back, we will get back into it. I'm scared of reading on stream and go, shit. Yeah. Resisting. Margaret shakes her head. Patient, the healer persists. Drained, Margaret surrenders. The healer tilts the bowl. A concoction streams into Margaret's mouth. I feel like then Margaret drifts back to unconsciousness. Into to unconsciousness or into unconsciousness? Drifts back. I feel like into. Thank the heavens. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we got to the end of that line. You redeemed random 50 fact. What genre of 50 fact would you like to know? Food? I feel like we've done a food one before. I can read like there's no tomorrow, but my vocab drops dramatically when spelling is involved. Drifts into unconsciousness. Like the car thing? Oh, drifts like a car. Food? Where? What's the best restaurant you've ever eaten at? Hmm. Um, so the one I'll, mm, yeah, I'll go with that one. So my favorite, birthday, as long as just say, no, we are not saying Applebee's. Um, so I don't know if I've actually mentioned this on stream before, but my favorite type of food is barbecue. I love barbecue, even though I'm not from the South. Still love it. So Um, my dad and I both are quite into food. He cooks quite a bit. That's probably where I got it from. Um, so we found a place in downtown Cincinnati near where I grew up, and it was like a converted train car that they made into a barbecue restaurant. And that place had the best ribs I have ever had. I think they ended up going out of business though, because we went there like 2 or 3 times and then never again, sadly. But yeah, that would probably be, if not the best, one of the best meals I've ever had. Applebee's is a slightly worse TGI Fridays. You're not wrong. Favorite place to eat is this Ripley's. Not that Fridays really exist anymore. What do you mean you can't fish there? Should I be glad? I don't know what those are. A lot of places went out of business during. No, this wasn't a COVID closure. This would have been probably pre 2010. So it was just a business that happened to go out. So, yeah. But yeah, COVID definitely accelerated that for a lot of businesses. Some businesses went down because they failed. Yeah. I too am banned from the aquarium. Can tell you what the holes in the dolphins are. Oh, boo. Boo. Be nice to the dolphins. Dolphins are awesome. You're just getting the disapproving shaking of the head, Naughty Dog. Did you know dolphins are pervert? Yeah, I have heard that. I'll just ban myself later and mess with other fish, as well as humans. Yeah, I have heard about that. Hence why they are my fave. They aren't, but they should. Uh, Chat, don't ever change. Alright, I'm going to disappear, but have no fear. We are going to have words on stream instead. I'm going to take a quick break. You all get to play some words on stream, and I will be back. It will display random letters, not so random. You type words into chat based on those letters, and you have to wait for the little locks on the timer. And if you forget that, Naughty Dog will remind you. Yeah, bro, when Yoon brings chat, they always be on something. Do I have to curse about the timer again? Sure. Terrible at this game? It's okay. It's a team game. We win or lose as a team. Speed Scrabble, but worse. Alright, I'm going to start the game. Have fun, be good. I'll be back shortly. 3, 2, 1, go! GG's chat. Naughty Dog with the gold, Sylvie with the silver, and Rose with the bronze. Psych, and I helped out. GG's chat. Alright. I have returned. Words on stream. Hi, hello, I'm back. I have returned. So, I had an idea. I want to run it by chat and see what you all think. I now have to abandon you for the sleep. Get yo sleep. Sleep is important. We'll wait for your... Okay. Yeah, it should only take a minute or two. It just... I want to get other people's input on it and see, because it will affect stream. Kind of what we do. We'll still be streaming all that stuff. It won't... Not anything bad. I promise. So... I've been thinking a lot about what I want to write next, and I keep thinking about what I want to write next because we're kind of in editing mode, and so the creative part of my brain is like, hey, I want to still create and come up with stuff. So it's been coming up with ideas for what I want to write next on stream. And so I'm not sure if I want to just focus completely on editing our current project and then moving on to what we have next, or if we want to split up stream somehow so that we continue editing this but also start working on our next project. And kind of, I think the best idea or the best setup, I think, would be like the Tuesday and Thursday streams, we continue working on our current project, going through editing and all that, and then maybe Sundays we work on a new project. That's about as much thought as I've put into it, but I want to kind of see if people had thoughts about that. Yeah. Do edits half the week and start the other half. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. We should continue editing this, get 6-7 drafts in, GoFundMe budget, shoot with chat as a crew. You're more optimistic about what happens after we finish this than I am. Get Brianna. That way you don't feel stuck in loop. Like, I don't think I'm going to lose steam. I fully plan to see this all the way through to the end, and get our current story in a place where I'm happy with where it's at. So that is not as much of a concern for me. Yeah, just kind of the way my brain works, because this I'm editing and then the piece I'm working on in my own time, I'm also editing. So that's a very different part of my brain I'm using than creating something new. And so the part of my brain that likes to create new stuff has been kind of just like, when are we getting to create something new? Here's some ideas. Oh, what if we did this? Oh, this would be cool. What if we did that? And so, like, I'm starting to get ideas for what I want to write next, and yeah. Love the balance of creativity and editing. Yeah, I do as well. I mean, I like your work and want to see it produced, but I also know the movies are rough and may never see screen. Yeah, like, yeah, I know fully well what I'm getting into. Splitting up the week is a good idea. Mariners is back. Mariners, did you hear any of that, or did you have me muted? Uh, Being nosy, is this for working on different project? Yeah, Mariner. So what I pose as chat is I'm starting to think about. Oh, no, that's completely fine. Like I do the same thing. Like I'll hang out in chats and then I'll mute it because I have to work on something else. Like it's completely fine. Um, so what I'm considering is I have I've been thinking about ideas for what I want to write next on stream, and I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like I could get started on that. So I wanted to kind of get chat's input on whether maybe I change up stream so we work on editing for 2 days a week and maybe start working on something new 1 day a week. And I just wanted to see if chat had any ideas, input about all that. Honestly, do what's good for you. In the past week, there have been like 6 authors who have burned out, not from creating, but stream. Yeah, so really do what you're comfortable with. Oh, I appreciate that. Fund his mood. Yes, please, someone. Um, no, we want to pay people. It's just finding the money in which to pay people and all of that. So, yeah, I just was thinking about that. So it's something we might do moving forward. And oh, I guess also, next weekend. So not like tomorrow weekend, but a week from, I will be going on vacation for like a week, so won't be any streams. So we'll be taking a week off, and then maybe when I come back, we'll start up with kind of the um, slight change up of still editing, but maybe starting to work on something new as well. Um, I don't like saying this about my ideas for writing because I don't want to come across narcissistic or arrogant in any way, but I'm actually very happy with the idea for one scene. I just had the idea. Nice. It's always good. Get back to writing. My wife started watching the kissing booth, and I'm ready to put my head in the toaster with. uh, Unfortunately, 6 people have quit. Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching streamers on Twitch for since before COVID for a while. And yeah, some of them I end up leaving their communities because I'm just not interested in what they're doing. Sometimes they stop streaming, and yeah, unfortunately, it's just part of it. Enjoy the grass. 10th of March 2019. Oh, you checked when my account was created? Yeah. Actually, that's like right when COVID lockdown started. I thought I was on Twitch before that. That might have just been when I changed my username last. Sure, the toaster has 2 press. Sadly, now I do have to abandon you for sleep. No worries, Rose. Get some rest. Hope you have a nice day tomorrow. And it's Friday. I don't have to work tomorrow, so it's even better Friday. It says on your account, yeah. Okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff around the time of COVID is kind of blurry, so yeah, the pressure to stream, it becomes less about the streamer, more about the community, which burns. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. The shutdowns would have happened in the States in early 2020, not 19. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't really start in the States until early 2020, though. Because I remember it was March or April when we got shut down where I am. Yes, Rose, leave. Go get some sleep. Not that I'm kicking you out or anything, but yeah. Yeah, it's not good. You should stream because you enjoy it, unless it's your full-time job, full-time gig. But even then, yeah. It was late March for us, I think. It was 2020 on Australia, early, should be March. Yeah. Genuinely like living in a movie. Yeah. Uh, the other movie that I'm writing in my own time is actually about COVID in some ways. So yeah, I've had to think back on that quite a bit recently to remember kind of the progression of events as I remember them for kind of how things unfolded. Like poor PWS stopped, wasn't for those reasons, but yeah, sometimes it gets too much. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Oh, okay. Um, all right. Now we're gonna try to get back into writing. Oh, I just looked. We have 112 pages currently. All right, but we are on currently page 10, so we are not even a tenth of the way through. Making progress. Okay. So we are jumping from interior Shawnee Longhouse day. We're going to night. Voices outside wake Margaret. Some color has returned to her face, but she's still frail. Voices outside wake Margaret. Color has returned to her face, but she's still. Yeah, I guess that's. Exhausted, Margaret struggles to focus. She hears a stranger greeted by Shawnee delegates. Listening. Exhausted, Margaret struggles to focus, listening as a stranger is greeted by Shawnee delegates. Exhausted, Margaret struggles to focus, listening as a stranger is greeted by Shawnee delegates in their 40s. Stranger's voice catches Margaret, but she can't place it. Okay. Margaret shifts, peers out the opening of the wooden longhouse, but the stranger is obscured. Have you seen Eddington? It's pretty good. COVID. I have heard that. I have not seen it. Um, I've heard kind of mixed things about it. How often do you use shot? For what? like from the bar at top. Oh, never. Yeah, I mean, even in the description when I hover over it, it says camera direction, e.g., close on someone. Rarely used. So, like, action dialogue, even on that, it said, yeah. Yeah, I use scene, action, character, parentheticals. I use probably a little more than I should. Obviously, dialogue. Transitions, also rarely used. We do use them here because we have. I don't know that we use them here outside of fade in and cut to black, but in the other thing that I'm working on, it has two different timelines. So I do use like flashback to and end flashback, so those will be transitions. But then outside of that, yeah, most of the other stuff I don't use. I don't use shot. I don't use text. I don't. When we had our outline in there, we used notes. Um, I guess I could have used outline instead. The axe you won't have to use unless you're doing like a TV pilot, and even then it's questionable if you have to use them for a spec. Um, lyrics, image sequence. Duel is kind of cool. Every once in a while I'll use that, but very sparingly as well. No camera direction in your screenplay unless absolutely necessary. I agree. You're not telling the story. You're telling the story, not directing it. Correct. But I was doing those things. I want to do those things. Yeah. You want to play with all the shiny toys, but yeah. Yeah, most of the time it's just those top, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, just the top 5. The sixth one you can use every once in a while, and Duel you can use every once in a while. Duel's cool because it just puts two characters speaking next to each other instead of on top. So it's implied that they're speaking at the same time. It's good for like if people are yelling at each other or something like that. Or if you have two characters saying the same thing at the same time. But like I said, you want to use that very judiciously and only when necessary. I am in the. This is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. Yeah, like when you get a new toy, you want to check everything out about it, and then once that kind of settles in, then you figure out what the necessities are, and you kind of stick to those. Of Margaret peers out of Longhouse entrance. Alright, the stranger always catches Margaret, but she can't place it. Margaret peers out of the Longhouse entrance, but the stranger is obscured. Margaret fights to keep her eyes open, watching. Beside a bonfire, the Shawnee delegates part. Motion the stranger into the council house. I know you said stream scripts won't necessarily be part of your portfolio. Was this one you shared in... Shared? Oh, so I was actually thinking about this one might actually go in my portfolio because I have written the whole thing. Um, and to be completely honest, it's turned out better than I thought it would because I wasn't sure how this whole thing would go. The one I've been sharing on Unistream about the video games, the gamer, all that stuff, that's the one that ends up dealing with COVID, if that's what you were asking. was the one you shared with Young part of portfolio, even if you didn't. Ye that one will be. I don't consider it like completed yet, so I haven't added it to my portfolio on the blacklist. Um, yeah, but I probably should add this and that both to it. But yeah, I just haven't yet. I just asked because some people save their best work for off stream entirely. Yeah, yeah, like I have a bunch of other completed things, and like I'd like to find a way to share them with more people, but there's the issue of I don't want someone else taking advantage of my work or ripping it off in any way. Um, there's also the issue like if I share something, I want to go back to it before I share it, so I can make sure that it is still worth sharing, or if it's just um, kind of outdated. Too late, I already wrote a story about Helena. I'm gonna get my lawyer on the phone after stream this evening. No. Yeah, I mean it's I went on this tangent last time and then continued it on Levington's stream after we rated him. But yeah, like as an aspiring writer, a lot of times all you have is basically your log line to try to sell yourself. And so if someone else has something similar, it just makes it more difficult for you. Cease and desist, Mary. Exactly. Liv has a good Ko-Fi page, but I don't know how often screenwriters use Ko-Fi. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, Blacklist is kind of weird because you can list all of your projects, kind of put in all the information about them, but in order to have the actual document, you have to pay them to host it for you. And you have to pay them to get an evaluation. Have you considered just filming one in Hollywood to share your work? Oh, why don't more people think of that? Yeah. Uh, like, I think St. Maria's is probably the lowest budget thing that I have written so far. Because, like I said, I like writing in kind of a sci-fi fantasy genres. So St. Maria's could be done extremely low budget. Um, but to do it the way that I would want to do it, it would require some money. And so, let's say I have some money saved up. Okay, what do I do next? I need to find someone who's familiar with producing micro budget films to help me with all the production stuff. And like immediately it just becomes a much bigger thing. And when could I do it? Would I what happens if we get to the point where we could make it but it ends up budgeting out more than what money there is. Like it becomes a lot more questions. In all seriousness, I didn't realize how expensive making a film was. Zach Krieger was saying how he only got 4 million for weapons, I think, and they had to shoot in Bulgaria. Not many of his crew spoke English. Yeah, like they talk about how low the budget for Obsession was. It was $700,000. Like it was, and that was a non-union film. And like there have been conversations from some of the crew on it afterwards talking about they wish they had tried to make the film a union film, and so if they were able to do that, that would have changed how much the film would have cost. Like, I knew all the box office movies are tens or hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects, but never seen but even smaller films. Yeah, does anyone in chat have 700 grand they could spare? For real. Wasn't weapon shot in Georgia, like the US state? I don't know. It might have been his previous film, Barbarian. Actually, most of that was probably on a shot on a. Sometimes they have it in here. Yeah, filming location, Sofia, Bulgaria. Which, I mean, it was supposed to be a stand-in for Detroit, so kind of makes sense. One of them was filmed in Bulgaria, unless I imagine the whole part of the interview. Yeah, so yes, it was Barbarian, his film before Weapons. But I mean, even that, $4.5 million budget. And Barbarian, if you think about it, most of it takes place in one house. Director. His first movie was Miss March from 2009. Wow. I did not know that. Yeah, no, I'm sure Weapons had quite a larger budget. Yeah, 38 million. He shot the Resident Evil film in Prague. I know that. Okay. Yeah, that one's coming out later this year. There was a trailer for that ahead of Obsession when I went and saw it. And then Gladys. So this is the okay, this is the prequel about the ant from Weapons. Yay, did a spree of media interviews from Prague. Okay. It's the knowledge I get when Naughty Dog sends me one message. Go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, writers are known to do that. Go down our rabbit holes. Sorry, just saw that. Okay, back to trying to do some editing. I don't have any friends who are writers, so I'm very grateful for the Twitch community. Me too. Yeah, I think I've talked about I used to have a writing group when I lived in Florida, and we used to meet once a week, and like it was great to have that community, but yeah, ever since I moved out to California, I really haven't had that. I've been more doing it all on my own, and yeah, kind of deciding to stream on Twitch and finding the other writer communities has been really great. Movies are magical. Quite literally. like the Harry Potter ones. And mine has some magic in it. Alright. Stranger's voice catches Margaret, but she can't place it. Margaret peers out of the longhouse entrance, but the stranger is obscured by the Shawnee delegates. Margaret fights. I believe we got struggles out earlier, so we can say struggles to keep her eyes open. Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open, watching. Beside a bonfire, the Shawnee delegates part. Even though he doesn't do a single spell in the first one, but we for that. Yeah, he does. He's in the class where they do Wingardium Leviosa, and he does up to call the broom. So that doesn't get okay. Okay. Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open. Watching. Beside a bonfire, the Shawnee delegates part. Motion the stranger into the council house. Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open. Watching. Yeah, we're gonna switch that up here. Margaret peers out of the longhouse entrance. Beside a bonfire, the stranger is obscured by the Shawnee delegates. Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open, watching. Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open, watching as the Shawnee delegates part. Motion the stranger into the council house. Wonder what J.K. Rowling turns the series into after the shows. Harry Potter flip books, Harry Potter etch-a-sketch, Harry Potter cave drawings, all about the Benjamins. I would not be upset if she just kind of disappeared and let other people tell stories in that universe. And then she can just cash the checks. Watching as the Shawnee delegates part motion the stranger into the council house. That's when Margaret sees Helene for a fraction of a second as she passes by the Shawnee into the council house. By the delegates into council house. To be fair, I don't blame her. Make as much money from that story as possible. Although, I'd also consider writing something else of half decent quality, though. I mean, if she could, she would, right? Right? Anyway, Margaret struggles to keep her eyes open, watching as the Shawnee delegates part. Then motion the stranger. Yeah, I feel like then. Then motion the stranger into the council house. That's when Margaret sees Helene for a fraction of a second as she passes by the delegates into the council house. She paused. Uh, so we have both of these phrases ending with into the council house. I feel like changing the first one to toward. Because usually I just cut one of them out, but they're both kind of necessary for explaining what's happening. The Shawnee delegates part, then motion the stranger toward the council house. That's when Margaret sees Helene for a fraction of a second as she passes by the delegates into the council house. Motion strain, yeah, so, but I need the specificity of they're motioning her into a different house. Because if I just say motion her inside, someone could make the assumption that they're motioning her into where Margaret currently is. And I need it to be clear that they're motioning her into a different building. That's when Margaret sees Helene for a fraction of a second. As she passes by the delegates into the council house. One to leave for editing, I think. Wait a minute. Yeah, right? Yeah, we'll leave that one for the next edit. Yeah, I don't like having to repeat it, but we changed one of the words so at least it's two separate motions. But I feel like it's needed in both instances just for clarity. Margaret, voice cracking. Helene? Astonished. Margaret reaches out, but everything is out of reach. Well, don't sell yourself short, mariners. Brackets might be my favorite part, not gonna lie. The parentheticals. Those. Ooh, I know what I want this to say instead. Raspy. I stick to brackets, please and thank you. Astonished, Margaret reaches out, but everything... I don't feel like we need that. Astonished, Margaret reaches out. Margaret. Can't be. Margaret shifts in the bed. Margaret shifts. I think we established she's in the bed. Voices outside wake Margaret. I think just Margaret shifts. Margaret shifts, summoning all the strength she has. Margaret shifts, summons all the strength, summoning all the strength she has. No. Uh, let's put that first. Summoning all the strength she has, Margaret shifts, pulls herself toward the opening. Tries to pull herself toward the opening, but slumps it. Yeah. I saw you guys were discussing chat being the crew. Quite the cook, if that means anything. Good to know. Summoning all the strength she has, Margaret shifts, tries to pull herself toward the opening, but slumps to the ground. Yeah. That flows better. Unrelenting, Margaret digs her hands into the ground, pulls herself along. She pulls twice. Beans on toast every day. No thanks. English breakfast. Well, actually, I don't like beans. Unless they're kidney beans. Heaves. Uh, mm. Never had a full English breakfast, not gonna lie. I I don't remember if I ordered one or got one while I was in London visiting, but yeah, I definitely did not eat all of that. I had like a couple bites of the sausage and was like, yeah, I'm good. Oh hell yeah, I guess of course Naughty Dog likes it. Might as well burn my passport. We'll swap them. I'll have to jog like 4 hours after. Yeah. Two. Unrelenting, Margaret digs her hands into the ground. Crawling? I'm too fussy of an idea to be eating pig's blood. Bacon sandwich every morning. Yeah. As the grandson of a pig farmer, I grew up eating some weird shit. Blood pause. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Too fussy of an eater. Fair. Unrelenting, Margaret digs her hands into the ground to drag herself along. Noticing that Hogshead Cheese isn't just a clever name. No, it is not. Noticing the healer, along with their apprentice, Teen, near smart. Keep having to do that, but we have to do it. Did we say the healer? Her hands on her shoulder. Yeah, so we have established. Noticing the healer, along with her apprentice. Should we just say like 16, make it easier? And I think we have noticing earlier. Yeah. So cool, the software is free, by the way. Obviously, there's a paid version, but it's great. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the paid stuff is just for like production stuff. So like reports and revision data. So if you get into production, you might have to pay for it, but at that point, it would be definitely worth it. Yeah, at that point, studios pay for. Yeah. At that point, studios paying for my penthouse. Uh, kind of like that word. Sighting. Sighting, the healer, along with her apprentice, nears Margaret. Each takes an arm and redirects Margaret. Arm. Redirecting Margaret back to her bed. Or have I misread the contracts? Slugline 2 is only like $40 and it's so streamlined. Nice. 50, 50. Naughty Dog is promoting his site. Yeah, I don't think that's his site. Sighting Margaret, the healer, along with her apprentice, near. Each take an arm, redirecting Margaret back to her bed. Margaret. No, no. Resisting, Margaret thrashes, but can't free herself. Yep, I read the small print. Yes, no shame. Healer says something. Fatigued, Margaret gives up her resistance. That's when those YouTubers got fined for playing a CSGO gambling game without disclosing they own part of the... Oh, jeez. Margaret thrashes but can't free herself. Healer. Fatigued, Margaret gives up her resistance. But her eyes remain on the opening. Remain on the opening, searching for any glimpse of Helene. Give me too much credit for 40. I'll show you how to open the ruler in Microsoft Word and tell you how to figure it out. I feel like we've established that as through the opening. Alright. Fatigued, Margaret gives up her resistance, but her eyes search for any glimpse of Helene. I had to Google this earlier, and I'm not joking. Fatigued, Margaret gives up her resistance, but her eyes search for any glimpse of Helene. Turn to her cot. So bad at technology, I can do spreadsheets, but not Word. Also, can barely type 70 words per minute. Might as well live in a forest somewhere. Yeah, I lurk in live stream and seeing her do the typing challenges, I'm like, I can't, I don't type that fast. If I really tried, I might be able to, but Liv got 136 while she was talking this week, right? Return to her cot. Margaret's heavy eyelids start to droop. Unable to keep herself awake, she drifts to sleep. I'm gonna say back to sleep. Return to her cot, Margaret's heavy eyelids start to droop. Unable to keep herself awake, she drifts back to sleep. Yeah, I think that works. We're up to 16! Woo! Well, I never learned to read. Every conversation I've had online, including this one, has just been me randomly smashing the keys with my fist and getting extremely lucky. I think you have used that one before, Naughty Dog. So that's night. He had. Oh, damn. Ah, all right. Let's try to get through one more scene, and then the only keys he knows are Control V. All right, we'll try to get through one more scene and then call it a stream. Interior Shawnee Longhouse day. Margaret's eyes snap open. From outside the longhouse, she hears voices arguing. Disoriented, Margaret searches. Her eyes find... Searches. Through the opening, she... Yeah. Or I can just say outside. She finds. Do you do the numbers on the left after you're done? The scene numbers? You can refresh those. I have those automatically update, so they just update whenever I add or remove scenes. Margaret's eyes snap open. Hearing... Nice. That's a better way of saying that. Hearing... Ah! Oh, thanks. Should be too hard to put those in. I at least know where to put numbers on the keyboard. Oh, yeah. Naughty Dog doesn't believe in putting scene numbers in spec scripts. Scene numbers, typically for spec scripts, you don't want to include scene numbers. If you're 50, uses them for... Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's just much easier, like, in my notes, I can go back and say, like, I know in scene 132, that's something I need to address later. So if I realize what I want that to be, I can skip ahead to that exact scene. So for me, it's just a way of getting to points in the script sooner. But like if we remove a scene, add a scene, it can change things. So you just have to be mindful of that. Yeah, I'd probably do this. Take it out needed just for reference. Scene 67. All characters have lost their mind. Yeah, in where is it? Yeah. So in this thing, you can go through and change all of your preferences and stuff. And is it on pages? Yeah. So under numbering, line type, scene, you can have them numbered, or if you unclick that, it would and then you can say if you want them on the right or left or both, update automatically, and then you can click redo numbers and it'll go through and update all of the numbers. And like you can edit a lot of stuff on here like margins and stuff, but those are pretty standard across different screenplays, so I would not mess with those. The only thing I would mess with is line spacing. If you want to change it, you can make it a little tighter or a little looser if you want, but that's about it. So, that's that. Hearing voices argue outside, Margaret's eyes snap open. Disoriented. She searches. Oh, yeah, of course, Mariners. Outside, she finds Helene being escorted away. The Shawnee delegates. Trail. Outraged. Margaret. What is... But Margaret's exhaustion. Margaret's exhaustion overcomes her. She fades back to sleep. She drifts... my mentor told me when he was a reader for studio screenplays was scene numbers immediately went into the trash. Scene numbers are for shooting scripts. I have thoughts about that. We don't need to get into it. I don't like when when readers have pet peeves about something that has nothing to do with the contents of the actual story of the screenplay. I am of the opinion that you can format your screenplay however you want. If you're able to communicate what you want, to me, that's what matters. But that's me. I don't work in the studio. I don't work as a reader, so it is what it is. Overcome by exhaustion, Margaret fades back to sleep. Yeah, I think that works. Then we will pick up next time with scene 17. So, we need to put years in all these It's all happening in the year 1681. Let's get all those. We'll put it there. Okay. The year I was born. All right. Yeah, that is going to do it for stream for this evening. I'm going to disappear so I can look and see who else is streaming. And looks like Author Chrissy is just about the only person streaming right now. So we'll go right over there. All right, we got the raid created. Yeah, thank you everyone stopping by, hanging out, lurking, chatting, all the stuff, all the things. I appreciate it. I will be back on Sunday. We will do some more editing and stuff and things. We have the raid messages. Oh, I just did the same thing twice. Got the raid messages. So we can say hi when we raid over to Author Chrissy. I will try to, because I've been trying to play more single player games, so I might try playing more in the Discord. So if you ever see me hanging out in there, feel free to stop by if you want. Yeah, currently I just started the Tomb Raider game from 2013. So yeah, I might be playing that some tomorrow if I have some time, and then I will be hanging out in Unistream for the community read night. I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned to be read, but if someone drops out, I might try to slip in for a spot. But that's that. Have a good rest of your week, and I hope to see y'all next time. Bye.
Thanks for checking out my channel. Do whatever you want. Live your life. I hope you're happy in your body. Much love to you. And see you around.